Greetings and welcome. My name is Selena Belisle, and I am the founder and one of the board-approved CE providers here at CE Institute, where we teach reflexology. We teach the subject on foot, hand, and ear. But right now, during this training, I'm going to show you our school foot reflexology chart, which is depicted on the right-hand side of the screen right now where I'm talking. You can see the left and right-hand foot and the various organ depictions and bodily system depictions we show in various colors and shapes throughout the sole of the foot. Now, many reflexology charts do not match. Ours is not an exact match to others. Okay, this is something that we formulated and created based on where we feel these reflex points are in the body, but there are things such as situs inversus and other medical conditions where these reflexology points might not be accurate. We teach about that in our class at CE Institute. So if you'd like greater instruction than what I'm sharing here, please register for one of our trainings at ceinstitute.com, and we will give you that information. For right now, without considering all the different medical complications that could make a chart different for individual clients and so forth, I want to show you some generalizations of where we feel there's pretty good industry consensus and agreement of where each organ or system reflex point is located in the feet. This right here is a small portion of a training unit in our foot reflexology home study course. And first, I'm going to review with you where all the reflex points are individually. And then after I've reviewed the location of each reflex point, I'm going to go through a quick quiz. It's kind of like a learning exercise. And remember, we are a school. We're going to go through a learning exercise and quiz you on where the points are and then show them to you immediately for a better learning experience. The heart reflex point is depicted on our school chart on the left foot only. It is a maroonish red color. It is in the shape of a heart, and it is on the medial ball of the left foot. The kidneys are reflected on both the left and right foot. They are kidney shaped. They're a little bit brownish in color, and they're about a little after the halfway mark on the sole of the foot, in the middle of both feet. The liver is depicted in blue on our school reflexology chart. It's primarily on the right foot, similar to our bodies. The liver is primarily in the right side of our body. It's about halfway down on the sole of the foot, and it does depict on both the left and right foot. However, it's primarily a right-sided organ and primarily depicted on the right side of our feet in this foot reflexology chart. Your spleen is depicted in a brownish color, and in our school chart, we have it depicted on the left lateral foot about halfway down the sole of the foot. The lungs are depicted over the balls of the feet. There are bilateral lung reflex points similar to how you would find your lungs in the body. And we have the lungs depicted in a reddish, very dark pink color here. The colon is depicted in 3 separate sections. We have a descending colon on the left foot, left medial, and it's depicted in this purplish pink color. The transverse colon is on both the left and the right foot. It's traveling horizontally from the right to the left foot. And the ascending colon is on the lateral right foot, passing up to the transverse, which is horizontal on our school chart. The colon can be found a little under the halfway point of the soles of the feet. The pituitary is found in a reddish, deep orangish color. The pituitary reflex point is depicted in the middle of the big toe on the sole of the foot. The eyes are depicted in a light blue, and they are directly under the second and third toes on both the right and left foot. Your pancreas is depicted in a similar shape of how the organ appears in the body. It is depicted in a golden yellow and on the left foot only, on the medial portion of the foot, about halfway down the foot. Your intestines are depicted in a purplish brownish color. We call these squiggly lines, and they pass from left to right and right to left foot, and they're on the lower third of the foot, right above the heel. Your ears are depicted in purple on the school's CE Institute chart. They are underneath both the left and right foot, underneath the fourth and fifth toes. The gallbladder is depicted in lime green. It is also depicted in a similar shape as how the gallbladder would appear in your own human body. And it's depicted on the right foot only. It's a little bit lateral to the midline of the right foot and about halfway to a little lower down the sole of the foot. Your solar plexus is directly underneath the ball of your foot. It's in the middle of the midline of the foot, and there are bilateral solar reflex points on both feet. In our school chart, we have this depicted in green. The stomach can be found on both the left and right foot in our school chart. The largest portion of the stomach will be on the left foot, while a smaller portion of the stomach will be on the right. It's somewhere in the middle of the foot, passing from left to right foot for the reflex points. And we have it depicted in a purplish pink color. The thyroid reflex point is depicted on both the left and right foot. It is directly underneath the big toe, where the base of the big toe meets the foot. We have the thyroid reflex point depicted in a goldish yellow color. Your cervical spine is depicted in light gray, and it is on both the left and right foot. All vertebral spinal reflex points are depicted bilaterally on both the left and right foot. The cervical spine reflex points would be on the medial big toe. Your thoracic spine can be found from the base of your big toe all the way down to your heel on the most medial side of both your left and right foot bilaterally. Here we have the thoracic spine reflex points depicted in gray. Your lumbar reflex points are depicted bilaterally in very dark gray. They are on the most medial portion of both your left and right foot on the sides of your heel. The sacral reflex points would be depicted on both the left and right foot, as with all spinal reflex points, and they are inferior to the heel at the very bottom of your foot. Here we have them depicted in black. To represent the simplified modified portion of our school foot reflex chart, we have depicted the head and neck reflex areas for simplified reflexology in pink. Simplified modified reflex areas would be bilateral on both left and right feet, and they will always mirror one another. They're never going to be different sizes in a simplified modified chart. For the head and neck area, we have all of the toes, and just inferior to the toes, depicted as the pink head and neck reflex area for simplified reflexology. Also, these organ points are depicted from the most lateral to the most medial portion of the foot and cover the entire section of the foot horizontally. Continuing down the foot in the simplified modified representation of reflex organ points, the chest area of a simplified modified representation would be just from underneath the toes themselves and just to the bottom of the ball of the foot. So your chest simplified reflex area would primarily be the ball of your foot. It again runs the entire width of the foot from the medial to the lateral foot. And in our school chart, we have this depicted in a very dull mustard, light-colored mustard yellow. Just under the chest area of the simplified modified organ reflex area in our school chart, we show the organ area. Your organ area covers everything from underneath the ball of the foot to just above the heel of the foot. We have this, of course, bilaterally on both feet, and we have depicted this in a very light mint green. The last area of the simplified modified depiction on our school's reflex chart includes the reproductive reflex points and the lower body reflex points. You can find them on our school chart depicted in blue just over the heel, so from the bottom to the top of the heel of the foot. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you pictures of the various organ depictions and reflex points of the feet, and I'm going to have you guess what I'm showing you, and then I will tell you the answer immediately. So this is not a graded test. This is simply a learning exercise to make sure that you have memorized where general organ depictions are accepted in a foot reflexology chart. Specifically, we're going to show you where we depicted them ourselves in our school foot reflexology chart. Can you tell me what this reflex point is? It's maroonish on the most medial side of the ball of the foot, on the left foot only. It's the heart reflex point. Can you tell me what this reflex point is? It's brownish, bilateral on both feet, just underneath the midline of the feet, and they look like little beans facing each other. If you guessed kidneys, you're correct. Can you tell me what reflex point this is? It's blue. It's about halfway down the sole of the foot. It's on both feet, a very large organ, and it's primarily on the right side of the foot. This is the liver reflex point. Can you tell me what this reflex point is? It's on the most lateral side of the left foot. It's a tiny organ, and it is about halfway down the sole of the foot, depicted in a brownish color. If you guessed spleen, you're correct. Can you tell me what these reflex organ depictions are? They're bilateral on the left and right feet. They're over the balls of the foot, very large, and they are depicted in a reddish, very dark pink color. If you guessed the lungs, you're correct. Can you tell me what this reflex point is? This is below the midline of the sole of your foot. It is purplish in color, and it passes from the right to the left foot. It's a little line that's traveling down and up the most lateral portions of the left and right foot, and then it's a single line that passes from the most lateral right portion of the foot to the most lateral left portion of the foot in a horizontal line crossing. If you guessed the colon, you're correct. The colon travels with the ascending up the right foot. Your transverse colon passes from the right to the left foot. And the descending colon is usually depicted traveling down the most lateral portion of your left foot. Can you tell me what reflex point this is? They are reddish dots in the middle of your big toes, bilateral on the left and right foot. If you guessed pituitary gland, you're correct. Can you tell me what reflex point this is? We have them depicted in light blue, bilaterally on the left and right foot underneath the second and third toe. If you guess those are the eye reflex points, you are correct. Can you tell me what reflex point this is? It's on the left foot only, about halfway down the sole of the foot, on the most medial portion of the foot, depicted in a very dark golden yellow color. It's the pancreas. Can you tell me what reflex point this is? We have these depicted in very dark purple squiggly lines that are both on the left and right foot, about 2/3 of the way down the soles of the feet. Those are your intestines. What would be the reflex points underneath the fourth and fifth toes, bilaterally on both the left and right foot? Those are the ears. What do you think the reflex point is a little lower than halfway down the sole of the foot, on the right foot only, depicted in a limeish green color? Very small organ. If you guessed gallbladder, you're correct. What would reflex points be right underneath the balls of the feet, bilateral, usually depicted in small little circles or ovals somewhere in the middle of the foot? And it's about halfway down the foot. In our chart, it's depicted in green. I'll give you a hint. This is the last reflex point that's usually applied with pressure prior to the end of a reflexology session. That's the solar plexus. What would be the reflex point that is on both feet, right and left, a little bit larger depicted on the left foot, about halfway down, in a very dark pinkish, almost light purplish color? That's the stomach. What would the reflex point be in foot reflexology, right underneath the base of the big toe, bilaterally on left and right foot? We have it depicted in a dark yellow. If you guessed thyroid, you're correct. What would the reflex point be on the most medial portion of the big toe? That's the cervical reflex point for the vertebral spine. What would the reflex point be on the very base of the heel in our school reflex chart? We have it here depicted in black. That's the sacrum. What would the reflex point be on the most medial portion of the heel? Here we have it depicted in dark gray. That's the lumbar reflex area for the vertebral spine. What is the reflex point between the base of the toe and just above the heel on the most medial portion of both feet? We have it depicted here in gray. If you guessed the thoracic spine, you are correct. In a simplified modified chart, what would be considered the large yellow area over the ball of the foot? If you guessed the chest area, you're correct. What would the large blue area directly over the heel of the foot be depicted as in a simplified modified reflexology chart? We have this depicted as the lower body reproductive reflex area. What would you consider the large pink area directly over the toes and just underneath the toes in a simplified, modified foot reflexology chart representation? Our school chart has this depicted as the head and neck area. What is the simplified modified reflex area that covers the arch of the foot and everything in between, directly underneath the ball and just superior to and above the heel? In this chart, we have it depicted in light mint green. This is the organ area depicted for a simplified modified reflexology representation. Now that was a quick review of where reflex points are located, and then a fun little quiz exercise learning experience and testing you and seeing if you remember where each point is located based on the color and the shape and the depiction of the location on those empty soles of feet, just showing one point at a time. We hope you enjoyed it. This right here is part of a larger training unit of our foot reflexology home study course. So if you enjoyed this and want more, please come to our school website, ceinstitute.com. We have a foot reflexology home study course that you can purchase and access immediately. It will be available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week until your course access expires. And you'll be able to review this and much, much more in the world of foot reflexology in that training. We also teach reflexology in live webinars and in-person classroom courses as well. All of that is available at our school website. So we hope you enjoyed this micro unit of a larger course that we have posted here for free for your review. And that will incent you to come see us for some more. Until we do see you in a class, we wish you to be safe.